Hello everyone. I think I'm the last one, and I hope you're.
No, there's four.
Oh, is it another person? Okay. So I have a background in journalism, environmental journalism, and I found that one of the recommendations that they give to every kind of environmental problem is educating public, raising awareness. So it made me just come to Purdue and pursue my PhD as environmental education, which most of the people, they don't do it for PhD, but I'm doing it for my PhD. So I came to Purdue. Can I have the picture?
Sorry.
So I came to Purdue Center for Global Soundscape. We work on natural sound, and we have an education section, which we develop a curriculum. We improve. We make an IMAX movie, and also we are working on an iListen portal, an online interactive website. I'm responsible for the curriculum design and also working on the content on IMAX and also iListen portal. So let's walk you through what is Soundscape and why we care kids know about this subject. So Soundscape is about all sounds in our surrounding. Even in this room, we are listening to a soundscape, me talking, the loudest one, and also electric, and other people are walking outdoors. So they are all this soundscape of this class or this location. Soundscape has three main elements: biophony, geophony, and anthrophony, three main sources. Biophony is natural sound made by animal, and it kind of makes them familiar with biodiversity. Geophony is sound made by a natural element, but non-biological elements, like mostly climate-related, rain, river. And anthrophony is not natural sound, it's non-biological sounds and sound made by human activity. As you can see, Soundscape, it has two main components, natural and human activity. It is very diverse and very dynamic, and also it is an indicator of environmental health. It's a very new topic in addition to ecology or biodiversity. Most of the time when we talk about ecology or when we talk about environment, mainly we are talking about the physical aspect. We are talking about trees, the patterns, mainly the spatial pattern and land cover. But this spatial pattern provides a second attribute, which we call acoustic environment or soundscape, which instead of being static like the land cover, it's very diverse. In addition to ecological perspective of soundscape, it has a social and psychological perspective. Most of us, as human beings, we make a good connection with nature when we interact with sound. If you go back to your favorite place of your childhood, if the soundscape is not good, you won't like that place anymore. So soundscape make sense of place in you. Soundscape work under the cultural and the cultural connection with the nature. And we would like to teach this to kids, especially our new generation, young students, that they are not listening. Even if they are listening to the headphones, music. So we call them earbud generation because they stop listening and they are very visual. So soundscape for me is beyond environmental topic. It is related to STEM. It has biology, it's talking about geography, it's talking about animal communication. It has physics, why sound propagate, where does it go, and how you can have different frequency. It has technology. We as ecologists, how we can record soundscape, how we can put it in our archive. And for me, as a visual artist, I see art a lot in soundscape. We record sound, we work with many musicians, and they combine the soundscape, or even many of them, they're inspired by soundscape. Visual artists, they make a lot of different arts according to soundscape. So for me, it is a bit beyond STEM, and it's STEAM, but it's not that much popular, so I go back to STEM. That is fine. So, before I started education, I thought environmental topic, it's a very hard topic to work on. There are many external factors, and you cannot control them. But when I came to education, working with human beings, even it's harder. And I think you cannot, even there are some aspects you cannot recognize, you cannot work on. So when education happened, I can say that four things should exist: student, teacher, curriculum, and context. And as a designer, I should work on all of them, and I should focus my maybe research question or maybe my evaluation to certain things. The students are important because they come to the class with their gender, their age, and the connection with other people. They are carrying conception and misconception, and I should know that what they already know. But even what the conceptions about learning is learning boring. You know, if they are carrying this stuff, it's just very hard to teach to this kid. Teachers are important because, again, their strategy, their conception and misconception, and also how they want to relate topics to kids, what style they are teaching is very important. Curriculum matters because it is very important what modes we are using, what learning style we are covering. Is it indoor activity? Is it outdoor activity? Like environmental education, you cannot just teach kids indoor, you should take them out. And context matter, again, like environmental education, you should take out kids for fieldwork. And there are many studies that shows that just indoor teaching, it is boring. All of us, we study in the school, and there are some concepts that we don't have any ideas. We can't even remember the name of the teacher. But there are some concepts that we would love to talk about. And even we are here because we like that teacher or even that context or that curriculum. So for me, I'm mainly focusing on the student and curriculum because education is very broad and I would like to graduate one day. So, believe it or not, this infographic or this diagram is my whole PhD. And I'm in the first part. I'm almost been done. The first part has been done. But I think the whole process will be done, the pilot study this summer. So I'm very excited to finish it. So, go back to this diagram. There is a curriculum being designed. We need some evaluation from people who are teachers, instructors, even scientists. We implement it. We hope that the students like it. So we ask them, do you like it? Why don't you like it? And then we go back to curriculum and we can revise it or add any more activities. It is a whole process. Most of the time, a researcher in education, there is a curriculum there. They implement it and then they see if it's working or not, or they ask a question. But for Soundscape Ecology, there are not any curriculum out there. Even there are not that many research studies. It's very, very new. So the first step was designing the curriculum. For designing the curriculum, I needed to know my audience. My audience were middle school students and visually impaired in high school level. Middle school students because we are working with young students. Many studies have shown that if you would like to have environmental pro students, we would like to have a sustainable society, we cannot start everywhere. We should start from very young generation. And if we would like to have our students interested in environment, we would like to start from the very young students. And it's going to improve their environmental pro behavior. And middle school students, they are young. At the same time, they are knowledgeable enough to know about some physics and some biology. And they fit the chart, and we could work with them. And visually impaired students, they are a group of our audience that, in contrast to middle school students, that they are not listening, they are very visual. They are auditorial. Their main sense is auditory. They are very good in soundscape. Maybe they don't know the knowledge of ecology, but they can be trained to be a very good soundscaper. We are working with them because we are learning a lot from them, and it's kind of mutual benefit. And also we make this bridge to introduce a subject that they are very good at, and they can continue into their higher education. And bioacoustic and soundscape ecology, they have this ability to be taught and even improved by visually impaired students. After my audience, I needed to know what is the setting. Am I teaching in school? Am I teaching in campsites? So I chose informal setting. One of the reasons was, for so long, formal setting or a school, and actually it's being used still for teaching STEM. It is good, it is improving. It is classroom-based, teacher-centered, everyone is the teacher is right all the time. Very product-oriented, and working on cognitive learning. Learning some fact and know the definition. And it's very quantitative. Pre and post survey, 20% of the students they know more. But informal setting or informal education get a lot of attention because There are some subjects that we were never taught, like critical thinking, articulation in talking, failure, or creativity, happiness. They are all the missing point of STEM learning. And I don't want to say that formal and informal are separate. They can be together, and in addition to cognitive, you can have non-cognitive part, which the students, they enjoy science, they appreciate science, and they develop identity. And outcome, in addition to cognitive part of knowledge in development, we like work on affective part. And the research question that I would like to ask is not only a student how they conceptualize Soundscape, but also how they are motivated in learning. If they are not motivated, is it because lack of the knowledge in curriculum? Is it because of the context? So I would like to know both cognitive and affective development in students.
It's not you.
Okay, for my design, I try to be as creative as I am. They have field work, hands-on activity, they make a sculpture with sound, they go out and come up with a research question and collect data. There is no way they would be wrong. And even failure can be awarded. If they are wrong in the wrong location, that is even better. And they were given a recorder, they can record a soundscape, and also and we adjust the same curriculum for visually impaired. So if there is a spectrogram, which is sound visualization, we design a 3D or textile version for visually impaired. If there is a map, there's a textile version for visually impaired. So we try to use the same curriculum for visually impaired too. So for formative evaluation, we will have a focus group of a mainly informal setting or museum instructor. After implementation, we will have summative evaluation of the students. Again, triangulation, using different kind of method, interviews, surveys, making the sculpture and taking photo of their sculpture, field notes, asking them to draw a concept map. And Don was showing them how concept map is really helpful. And I may have Lego series, ask them to design their Lego series of their 5 days experience. We will have one-on-one interview with teachers that how do they like curriculum? Is there any way that we can improve it? And also we are calling their parents 2 weeks after our program. Did they talk about our topic at home at all? Did they like it? Did they check it at all in the internet? So we would like to see that how they are attracted by the topic soundscape and also in general science. And I think the last part, we will use all the data to go back to the main curriculum and revise it. In general, I think this study will help me to find out not only the students' awareness, but also conception and misconception they are carrying. Because Soundscape is very interdisciplinary, and we really need to know what is the current knowledge of the students is about this topic. Also, affective development, which is one of the topics that it is not that much a study about it. Talk about motivation, how the students identify themselves. And also because I'm using a lot of different techniques, how we multimodal in activity and also multimodal in qualitative instrument can help me as an environmental scientist to know about the education program. And I think I'm done. Great.
Not so much a question, but an observation. So when I'm working with students in a garden setting, in an urban environment, if something is happening in the neighborhood, they'll pick it up through auditoriums. They know when an event is going to happen in the neighborhood through their ears. I may be working, I'm happy visually, I don't hear a thing. They hear it. A fight is going to happen. They know it before it happens because the sound changes. And I find that amazing that in this chaotic environment where cars are rushing by, they're very attuned to their soundscape.
I think in general, younger students, they are more alert of using their senses, but in the process of growing up, they don't use it anymore. They are very visual, and it's very interesting that the way that we can focus with our eyes, we can do the same with our ears, but we don't know how because we didn't train our ears. So our program in general is just kind of make them use this alertness more, and when you know about something, you try to use that actively rather than being passive. So we would like to have a more active listener, especially our young generation, which they are more visual. But I think I do agree with you that they have a better awareness.
I think Don made an analogy that their environment outside the garden is really ugly. I mean, there's abandoned houses, it's, empty lots, trash everywhere. So they tune out the visual and tune in, maybe for safety reasons, the auditory.
It was actually a region.
The region.
New York State region that made a comment.
Okay.
Thank you.